Every PlayStation game is the same now. And I think it might actually be true.
I'm a huge fan of PlayStation's first-party offerings. They've come to embody the sort of cinematic adventures I've always looked for when sitting down with a controller in my hand,
This is the first
feeling
game.
like genuine blockbuster events meant to be savoured. But where in the past this brand of glossy storytelling felt like new ground being trodden, I can't help but feel that recently it's become the well-worn road. It's not just that all of PlayStation's major releases adhere to the now trademark third-person cinematic stylings. It's that the stable of developers has become seemingly obsessed with stories that explore the exact same themes: grief and revenge.
The reason why it happens is because the games are being made by a bunch of boring, obnoxious millennial theater kids that have never gone through any trouble, trial, or tribulation in their life other than whenever their parents found their DeviantArt profile whenever they were 15 and they got sent to therapy. That's it. Oh, and maybe also whenever Amazon ran out of Labubus to order.
As a rule, these games are all impeccably well made, but I'm starting to miss that era when PlayStation's range felt wider, and things were a little bit more fun.
He brings up a really good point here. I think that a lot of PlayStation games are your third-person, over-the-shoulder, narrative RPG, story, movie slop video game. There are a lot of them.
The realization that so many PlayStation games have explored the same grim story themes—
Props to Astrobot, by the way, that broke the mold there.
—struck me when playing through Sucker Punch's new Ghost of Yotei. While I thoroughly enjoyed it and admire its consistently exciting approach to combat and genuine sense of discovery it creates for exploration, I couldn't help but feel I'd been told its story before. As Atsu, you're tasked with avenging the death of your parents.
How many fucking samurai movies are there where the beginning of the samurai movie is the bad samurai showing up and killing all the people and then leaving you and laughing at you? It's like, this is Conan the fucking Barbarian, it's Rise of the Ronin. Like, every single fucking one is like this. Like, it is. It is. There's a whole lot of these. Kill Bill, yep, there's another one. The Sekiro, yep, there we go. A whole lot of it. It's not about necessarily the framing of the story, it's how it's told, I think.
Blood-soaked journey across 17th century Japan.
Jeez, we're gonna have to watch this again.
Of the Yotei 6. Not only is this tale unfortunately close to the plot of Assassin's Creed Shadows, which
It is... Got him. It's the same thing.
It also played to completion earlier this year, but it's the same combination of fiery revenge arc crossed with meditations on what it is to grieve.
Well, it's even, the thing is that it's even at the beginning of Assassin's Creed Shadows, a group of samurai that look different and some of them wearing masks and look like idiots cause, you know, like, I think her name is Naue, they kill, yeah, they kill her family too. Wait, yeah, it's the exact same thing.
Comes something of a hallmark for PlayStation Studios in recent years.
I'm sorry it came to this, little wolf.
2019's The Last of Us Part 2 is an obvious trailblazer, with Ellie's dark descent into a rage-filled embodiment of revenge coming as a result of the death of her father figure Joel.
Oh god.
That, of course, was the sequel to the 2013 original that explored how Joel struggled to cope with the death of his own daughter. At the time, The Last of Us was seen as fueling a wave of sad dad games, including 2018's God of War. But in hindsight, these were just the building blocks for PlayStation's preoccupation with grief.
Find your way home.
This is another thing that I really fucking hate, but this is like a high school English teacher's idea of deep storytelling, is that comedies are for simpletons and dramas are for smart people. I hate this dichotomy, and I find it to be absolutely fucking insufferable. It's almost like, it's like the storytelling that they do. Yeah, comedy space. Yeah, exactly. It's so annoying. How many of you guys had to sit around, how many of you guys took, like, you know, you took the AP English, Honors English, Advanced, whatever Advanced English there is, and you had to read these bullshit fucking books about, oh, this is a story about a slave that is running away and she dies. Like, I don't want to read. It's so lame, bro. Like, it's just, it's always the same fucking shit. It's this, you know, faux sophistication that is just masquerading as if it's complexity. No, it's not. It's just a sad fucking story. I hate this shit. It's obnoxious. And the thing that I hate the most about it is the pretentiousness of it.
2022's God of War Ragnarok is a story fueled by the loss of mothers and sons and the anger that comes with them. Insomniac's Spider-Man series follows both Peter Parker and Miles Morales as they attempt to overcome supervillain threats as well as wrestle with their demons stemming from dead parental figures.
She never thought about herself, even when she was struggling to breathe.
2020's Returnal is a looping sci-fi nightmare born out of the protagonist Celine's familial grief-related trauma. And then there's 2025's other big PlayStation exclusive Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, which may not technically be a first-party game, but certainly is a verifiable feast of maternal and paternal anguish. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of all the games listed above, each singular in its depictions of characters and each offering wildly different gameplay experiences. But when viewed as a whole, it's easy to hear that their stories are all being sung from the same hymn sheet. Familial grief is at the centre of all of these stories, and while I certainly feel that mature themes have a place in games, it is all starting to feel like I'm getting hit around the head with the same
millennial theater kid slop. That's what it is. Why is it that so many of these stories are told about parents and issues with your parents? You know it, I know it, everybody knows it. It's because it's written by a bunch of people that have issues with their parents. People think the end of Return of the King is gay. They think it's Frodo and Sam are gay at the end of Lord of the Rings because they don't understand the absolute bliss and euphoria of being able to finally be finished with a world-ending threat that threatens all of civilization and life itself. And why is that? It's because they weren't a trench fucking fighter in the actually not a trench fighter, an officer in the British Army in World War I, like J.R.R. Tolkien was. And that's why when you have somebody who served in World War fucking I, which in my opinion is like, in terms of like the brutality and, you know, just like the absolute, like you had cavalry charging into machine guns. It was just fucking, it was a meat grinder. The stories that come out of a person that goes through that type of experience are going to have a certain type of verisimilitude that a millennial Funko Pop Labubu collecting loser that is a furry just doesn't have access to. That's the truth. That's where we're at.
Of course, it's true that not every PS5 game follows this pattern. Astrobot isn't an exploration of generational trauma in deep space, but you catch my drift. I think that's incidentally what I enjoyed so much about Team Asobi's Ode to PlayStation of old. With its joy and color
Ode to PlayStation? More like ode to fucking Nintendo. This was a Nintendo game, okay?
Standing out from the otherwise morose crowd. It felt like a rarity, but it never used to be this way. The PS3 gave us Naughty Dog's Uncharted era, which, although it eventually ventured into more melancholy, firmly planted its flag in themes of adventure with a tone ripped from the pages of Pulp Fiction.
Never played this.
As well as Little Big Planet, which, all the way at the other end of the tonal spectrum, celebrated creativity and community.
Welcome to Bunkum Chummy Chum Chum, where the sky is strewn with circling clouds of imagination.
Yes, these games all contained varying levels of character nuances, but were all fundamentally about different things. Treasure hunting, alien invasions, and personal expression.
Sure.
They weren't all trying to serve the same story. And I can't help but feel that if a new Jak and Daxter game were to come out today, it would be about an Otzel's thirst for revenge against the killers of his blonde-haired friend.
Hang on, Dax, it's gonna be close!
I hope that future PlayStation exclusives can look to this more varied, interesting past for inspiration, even when choosing to tackle more serious subject matters. Team Ico's PS2 classic Shadow of the Colossus took on a mournful.
They just didn't even do another one of those. Like, this is what they should do. They should redo this.
But found something truly unique and poignant within it, at a time when such ideas were far less common in games. It stands as a unique masterpiece to this day, telling its tale through vagaries and minimal cutscenes, a far cry from the trademark cinematic style we now expect of PlayStation games.
Yep.
What we didn't have back in the mid-2000s were 5 more PS2 releases that took its exact contemplations on love and loss and told the same story in a different wrapping. Every time you played something new from Sony Studios on the now 25-year-old console, it felt like a brand new experiment with a different story to tell.
This game looks really fucking good for being out in 2004, but didn't they remaster it or remake it or something?
That brings me back to
thought.
Ghost of Yotai, a game that is superior to its predecessor in almost every aspect, barring its central story.
My name is Atsu.
While I connect to Atsu more than I ever did Jin Sakai, she's a much warmer presence to spend a few dozen hours with. Ghost of Tsushima's narrative explores different, fresher ground. The story balances the personal struggles of Jin against the backdrop of an invasion of a nation, with themes of honor, betrayal, and belonging striking a chord and making it stand out when it arrived hot on the heels of The Last of Us Part 2 in 2020, before grief seemingly took hold of every Sony storyteller. Perhaps PlayStation's interest in grief is a reflection of the state of the world, though.
It's just that people don't know how to write stories that are enriching and good without making them really sad, to make themselves feel like they're deep and they have some sort of greater meaning. It's because they're just overgrown theater kids. That's it. That's what they are. That's all they can do.
When PS5 exclusives like Ghost of Yotai and Death Stranding were being written, that
Stop letting
melancholy
millennials
is
write
somewhat
stories.
understandable.
True.
The COVID pandemic inarguably took hold of our planet in the years 2020 and 2021. And as such, themes surrounding unexpected loss and mass trauma would no doubt have been at the forefront of many minds. It will therefore be intriguing to see if this pattern will continue much further then, now that the world has somewhat settled back into what it looked like beforehand. Will the stories being told in projects that began production post-2022 mirror a different state of the planet?
Is an Expedition 33 story also about family grief? Yeah, and there are stories that are good that are about grief, etc. The problem really is that you just keep making the same story over and over and over. That's the issue. And also, there's like so many extra levels and layers of complexity to Expedition 33 that a lot of other stories don't have.
Continue to look inside ourselves at our darkest moments. These are, of course, all valid tales to tell, and I'm a huge proponent of art being reflections of those creating it. But I can't help but wish for a little more variety going forward.
I will find every last member of the Yote Six. And I will bring you peace.
There's a reason to be hopeful and skeptical, considering what Sony has coming up next. Insomniac's Wolverine looks to be delivering on all of the gore and decapitation you'd hope to see.
That's cool.
But will that mature rating be reflected in its themes?
Death's always waiting.
Logan is certainly a character consumed by lust for revenge. Will that see us taken down a familiar path of burying past demons through ultra-violence? Or will we get an altogether different story that taps into a different part of his psyche? James Mangold's Logan already told us a tale that would have slotted nicely into PlayStation's sad
Yeah, this
dad.
could have been a PlayStation game.
So I do hope we don't just get a rerun of that idea here. We also know that Saros is on the way from Housemarque in March, and it certainly looked impressive in the most recent State of Play stream.
I haven't seen this. I didn't watch this.
As for Naughty Dog, the ground zero of this long...
It's just really like... Here's the thing, is that I think that people need to just come to terms with the reality that, like, if you want to have a game do well with gamers, if you have a game about swords, violence, killing people, and taking contracts, your primary audience is guys, and you should make your character look like a guy. It should be a guy. Should not be a girl. And if it is a girl, she had better be really, really hot. There is no audience benefit to having an ugly female protagonist. I'm sorry. There's not. Nobody wants it. Nobody advocates for it. And if you think that's not true, go ahead and next time you see one of the girls that are talking about how good these characters look, give them a compliment and tell them that they look like this character. You'll see them switch up real quick.
We know that the studio will be taking on the sci-fi realm next with Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet.
You look like Lizzo, yeah, the Lizzo thing, yeah, exactly. Lizzo's so beautiful? Okay, well, you look like Lizzo. What the fuck's wrong with you? Exactly, no I don't. Why? What's bad about that? I thought she was beautiful.
Its first trailer was promising, delivering a more fun-filled tone than we'd ever dream of seeing from The Last of Us.
Lizzo,
Of course, we've barely scratched the surface here, but it would be fantastic to see Naughty Dog rediscovering some of that Uncharted levity here.
I don't know about that. Might not happen. I wouldn't
Both
expect
of these
it.
upcoming PS5 games, incidentally, are stories about people investigating lost off-world colonies. I hope for my sake that they find wildly different stories to tell on each of them, rather than discover reminders of the grief they've left behind.
But after every death, I always come back stronger.
For more on
That's
Ghost of
cool.
Yotai, make sure to check out our review, and for everything else, keep it locked to IGN.
Yeah, bro, like, I see these games, and it's just such a, like, this was a good video. I think he's bringing up a very good point that all of the games have the same type of cookie cutter storytelling, and it's getting a little bit old. Rare IGNW, I would agree with you on that. I think that it is an IGNW. This was a good video, and I appreciate it. But there it is. Funny how Expedition 33, one of the year's most beloved games, a story of both revenge and grief. Yeah, exactly. The problem is yeah, but they haven't told that same story 30 fucking times either, right? That's another really big difference as well. That's why Witcher 3 random pleb NPC is hot. Well, yeah, obviously. I mean, why wouldn't they be? I mean, of course. I mean, fuck. Yeah, I thought the video was 6 out of 10. Oh, really? I don't know. I think it's probably more like a 7 out of 10. Yeah, overall, I think that they do need to make stories and stuff like that that are a little bit more interesting other than just the same fucking bullshit, right?